Hey, good evening from Beijing. I'm Tracy Lee and here with Jared. And hey, we wanted to take some time to address a few things about 1358 and symbolism. And if we're talking quietly, that is because we live with our promoter here in Beijing, and she has a son, and the son is sleeping upstairs. We don't want to wake him up because he'll scream and cry, and it will be like a travesty for everybody.
He's a baby dragon.
He's a baby dragon. And so like I was just telling Jared, it's really strange speaking English without pausing for translation, because normally we speak like 3 sentences and then we stop. And then it's like, and 3 more sentences. And we have to pack as much information into 3 sentences as we can. So anyway, I want to, you can hear him upstairs, I guess he's not asleep yet. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, there was the video that I posted in the room today, which was the gentleman who was talking about how everybody should remove their chakras. And, you know, my initial response was, I was a little upset, but after contemplating on it and using 1358 to not overreact and get all pissed off and angry, because we try to practice what we preach, I realized a couple of things. First of all, that my entire life experiences of abusive relationships and men and hitting rock bottom and being homeless and all this stuff has really prepared me for what we're about to go through, which is teaching people something that's new and groundbreaking and completely different, and it's going to meet a lot of resistance. So Jared and I can handle it. We're well, adults, we're big kids, so...
Plus, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Yeah, imitation is the kindest form of flattery. And I also received, I guess we received messages from a few people saying that this guy has done this to multiple people. But I don't want to waste the live feed talking about that. What I want to talk about instead is how 1358, I'm not saying that we remove our chakras. This is not what I'm saying at all. You know, energy, you can't just remove energy from your body. It leaves a space. Everything kind of takes a space. And what I'm suggesting instead is it's healing through vibration. And so what he says in the video is partially correct. Yes, the chakras plug you into the matrix, and we're born with them. And every time you tune them, it plugs you in, and then you get matched with this frequency that feeds the archons that try to control us and build fear.
The way you said it, your chakras basically season you, and that makes the energy taste good for the archons feeding off of you.
Yeah, and that part, what he was talking about, I agree with, and that's correct. But then, you can't just pay somebody to say, remove my chakras. Okay, I'm cured, it's healed. We have to, when you complain that something's wrong, like we're saying about the chakra system, you can't just complain that something's wrong or bad and not present a viable alternative for people to live by. So you can't just say, okay, we're going to take off your chakras, now everything's fixed. And so what I've done with 1358, I've got over 50 hours of course material developed, and I go way, way deep into this stuff, and we're going to start breaking it down a little piece at a time. And so, yes, we're not removing the chakras, but what happens, I want to make an analogy with these chakras. Yeah, you're born, think about it as like, it's like they're plugs in your body. And so sometimes if you buy like a new house or something, there's plugs in the wall that you don't need, so you cover them up or you paint over them. That doesn't mean the plugs aren't always going to be there. That electricity, that connection will always be there. So if you want to plug something into that space, you just take the cover off and plug something in. That's like chakras. I mean, it's not like you take them off. But when you use the NAYZI and you learn to cultivate and spread this energy, and we're going to be doing that NAYZI activation live in 2 days, but the chakras no longer become a factor, because like the vibration of them is so low that their capacity gets filled up. It's like, you fill a cup of water, it spills over, and it's like, oh, well, that cup is useless.
They can't exist at that higher vibrational frequency.
It's kind of like, you take a coffee cup and put it outside when it's raining. Eventually, it's just, the cup is just going to get taken away with the wind. And it's kind of like what happens with chakras. And then another thing I wanted to comment on is how funny it is that the NAYZI is underneath what people call the sacral chakra, because the sacral chakra carries this kind of low human vibration of like passion, anger, fear, lust, sex. It's very physical, and so they
very fearful.
And very well, and we're not saying sex is bad, obviously.
No, but it's
very.
When you live from lust, it's trying to fill a void of something, and you're trying to fill that with physical stimulation.
But putting, the creators of humanity, making sure that that sacred energy of the NAYZI, which stays with every soul from the beginning of its creation, when they put that underneath that particular chakra, it's a very good way to mask that energy, because every time you get mad or passionate, or you have like your sex drives ignited or whatever it may be, that kind of naturally quiets that energy down. And until you start to activate your NAYZI and learn to work with this energy and cultivate it all the way through your body, and you can learn to extend that field outward as well, which is super cool. I want to make sure I had a couple points to go over. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, or this is kind of funny. So for the first time today, on the last 24 hours, let's see, I've been called a religious cult leader, or someone who wants to make my own religion. Not true. Please don't call me a follower or a guru. We're not gurus. We're not even anything. We want to share a lot of this stuff for as free as possible. And I don't even like being called a teacher. I'm just a channel, open channel who shares.
And religion's all bullshit.
No, we're not a cult. Please don't call us a cult. We don't even like the word follower. I more prefer the word supporter, or someone who likes it. And let's see, so I got called a religious cult leader, then I got called, but this is the best one, I got called Illuminati. So I found out that that gentleman who's running that big group with all those followers has been telling you guys, and that's one of the reasons Jared's sitting here, that the symbolism on our logo or cover page or whatever is Illuminati, and you should be very careful listening to the things that we say. So I'm going to let Jared talk to you about symbolism, because obviously I know this stuff too, but he's a lot more, this is his area. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Jared and let him talk about dragons and triangles and Illuminati.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. No. We have a upside down triangle with a dragon in it. Now the Illuminati's triangle, like that, symbolizes the very top point is the only people that receive the knowledge. By inverting that triangle, it shows the bottom half as the top, and the bottom half is the regular people, and the regular people are the ones that are getting the knowledge. The masses will get the knowledge. That's what the upside down triangle represents. And if you're afraid of snakes or dragons, guess what? You're still programmed by the Catholic Church, by the Abrahamic religions that try to steer you away from your true power, your energy. And dragons and snakes represent that. They represent the mysteries of esotericism, the esoteric knowledge.
Yeah, and so just to go over that one more time, because it was actually even me who made the Area 1358 logo. I intentionally used the upside down triangle. So people, when you look at the regular triangle, people think Illuminati, Illuminati. I intentionally flip that upside down so people know that that's not what I'm standing for. I don't affiliate with any organization whatsoever. Even Jared.
We affiliate with the masses.
I affiliate with my family, with humans, with Earth, and that's it. And like Jared said, it's like the Illuminati's triangle, like the elite are at the top. That's that 1% who know all the secrets and they don't want to tell anybody. So what happens when you flip the triangle is the masses are at the top with the truth. And that's what Jared and I are trying to help create. So
that's what we're bringing to the new age.
There's no Illuminati here. And it's a little disheartening to hear things like that, because in 2014, I spent a good amount of time sleeping next to a dumpster and homeless. I was rock bottom, strung out on methamphetamines, and a really horrible place in my life. I've gone through, a 12-year marriage that was extremely abusive, and I was very lonely and sad and depressed, and like drug use, and I turned my life around. I brought myself out of that hole. I created all this for myself, and now, to be called Illuminati or put some kind of label like that, I'm just truly trying to give back as much as I can, and I am here to be of service. So I just want to debunk the fact that I'm so affiliated with some type of secret society, because it's just not the case.
And I grew up a hard knock life. I had a very loving family, but times were always tough. All my friends are rough and tough guys, you know what I mean? A lot of them went to prison. A lot of them are in prison. I survived that. I fought my way out of it, and I'm trying to better the world and trying to give people that came from my same situation a chance, because there are no chances. The world's stacked against you, and it has to do with this knowledge they are hiding. So I dedicated my life to go seeking this knowledge, and I want to share it with everybody. It's not a secret.
And I want to make another thing super abundantly clear about the 1358 system that I channeled. By no means do I think that I'm the only person alive on the face of the earth who can help you with this, or I don't think that you have to buy something from me to learn this. The whole idea here is trying to teach you guys that you don't need to spend all your money on healers and psychics and whatnot. You can learn to activate and use and circulate and cultivate this energy within yourself, and that's what we're trying to teach you. We're trying to teach you not to go take Reiki classes. I don't, you know, we both have consultations that you can pay us for, but we don't want to see you more than a couple times or more than once. We don't want repeat business. That means that we're sucking you in and we're sucking you dry. We're not vampires. We're trying to help wake people up.
We're trying to create leaders and teachers.
Leaders and teachers and self-sufficient people, and the base of 1358, which is the one, represents truth. And you can all see, I mean, how seriously I take 1358. You know, it's the only tattoo I have. Ask Jared, he's pretty much seen all of it. This is the only tattoo I have on my body, and that's how much this means to me. But it doesn't matter whether. You know, I call it the NAYZI because that's the energy, that's the word that I channeled, and then that's the label that associates this energy with the 1358 system. But, you know, I want to move into why I moved this away from the word Merkaba. And because there was a couple of questions underneath my videos, recent questions even, about Merkaba activations, what's a Merkaba, and I'm going to keep going into this over and over on subsequent videos. But the first thing I'll say about the word Merkaba is I do not believe in I think the concept of a Merkaba is a fallacy in a world of entropy where everything is always, in a world of entropy, everything is constantly moving, it's expanding outwards. So when everything is always moving, nothing stays still. So the mathematical definition of Merkaba has perfect symmetry. I do not believe that anything inside us can be perfectly symmetrical. It goes against everything that even basic understanding of physics and
the law of motion.
Law of motion is very, very basic understanding of motion. And so I don't like the word Merkaba because it also represents something that can be synthetically created that can be very dangerous. And so, you know, Nikola Tesla was all about, you know, looking into the body's bioelectrical energy and doing research and I guess in the end, teaching us that we can all create this strong bioelectrical energy within us, and this is eventually, it's going to power your phone, it's going to power your TV, it's going to power everything.
Can I tell them the channel I got the other night that I shared with you?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Well, in the future, and I guarantee you we're going to develop this technology really soon, but we'll have a system to where it takes our bioelectricity and it turns it into energy, into usable energy. And that bioelectricity is going to be generated by our thoughts. So we're going to have a bunch of people walking around the planet just thinking, generating electricity for our entire planet. It's going to be an amazing thing. But
there's a gap, and I believe the gap that's separating us from that life and where we are now is this energy that we all have to start cultivating, not when we're 35 like I did, you know what I mean? When kids are young, we have to, you know, they have to understand this energy and start circulating it from a very, very young age, and then we can start producing the kind of humans who can have that type of frequency to produce that kind of bioelectricity that can run our technology and save our planet. I mean, the implications of, and this is not something that's going to happen tomorrow, but the long-term implications of this energy that we have inside us, I mean, it's free energy, it's healthcare, it's healing, it's longevity, it's all of those things. And I have seen, I mean, Jared's seen the testimonials, we've seen it, people in tears, people healing. I mean, just, we have hundreds. I mean, the webinar I did here in China last week had 4,000 people tuned in at one time. I mean, it is real, it works, and I'm really looking forward to having you guys tune in, to having me walk you through the activation. And I know you want to jump in, but I want to say one thing about this activation. And this is also something that Jared and I connected on a very long time ago that we both believe. You don't hear a lot of people say this, okay? Nobody can activate your Merkaba besides you. So any light workers or anyone going around saying, I do a Merkaba activation, and they're going to put their hands over you or send some kind of energy, bullshit. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. This is your thing inside you. It's your energy. This is your piece of you. Like healers, energy workers, yeah, we send energy. We can heal parts of the body, bones, even make hair grow, like all kinds of things. But that little part, your battery, you have to be responsible for that. That's yours. Never, ever, ever ask or pay or try to get somebody to activate or do anything to that. Anyone who does that is extremely...
A charlatan.
Misled.
Yeah.
It's extremely
no,
misled.
That's a better way.
Yeah, they're misled. I mean, they might think they're doing something good, but I promise you...
She's right. I go right to the worst case, sorry.
If you believe in the concept, and I've said this before, if you believe in the concept that everything came from source, we were all in the one spot and everything expanded out from there, then you know that you have this little piece inside you that came from source or God, and we just have to practice learning how to cultivate and circulate that. And it has to do with numbers, and it has to do with number code a little bit, and so that's why I'm going to take you guys through activating your NAYZI through a 3-digit activation code that you're going to... You'll see. We're going to use. I know you guys are going to be tuning in 2 nights when we're going to be walking through that. Did you want to jump in?
Yeah. I wanted to say I'm not going to use the real name, but the guy that's been going around saying we're Illuminati and trying to spread fear. This is the only thing his page is about. It's about fear, and that's what he does, is try to get people enveloped in fear. And his name's like Captain General Truth Teller. That's what we'll call him.
Oh, yeah, let's call him Captain Truth.
But he used to be my friend, and he blocked me and unfriended me. He blocked me from his group and started this crazy, shady stuff. I guess he was hunting for some followers, which is more power to him. But don't let the fear envelop you, because fear is false emotion appearing real, and it's nothing. It's bullshit. That's how archons work. Archons trick you into fear, into defeating yourself, into deceiving yourself, and that fear that keeps you away from your power, your activation, and your true destiny. So let that shit go.
Yeah, I like fear, failure, expected and received. But yeah,
face
I like
everything and rise.
Both of them are good.
All 3 of them.
But yeah, as for Captain Truth, hey man, you have no grounds to base that on. You don't even know me. I've never been your Facebook friend. I come from a nice family. You know, I've been through shit and hell and picked myself off the ground and cleaned myself up and made my own life. So I don't need any affiliation or whatever you want to call it, Illuminati or secret society. This is This is all us, you know, just me and Jerry.
See this right here? This is for my esoteric studies. I studied all kinds of stuff, and what I told you about the pyramid and the inverted pyramid, totally true. And if you do your esoteric research, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So.
Okay, so I want to leave you guys with a little new information about 1358 that I haven't talked about before, and we're going to keep slowly doing this little bit by little bit. As you know, 1358 works by activating the energy of the NAYZI beneath your navel, learning to circulate it, cultivate it, spread it, and you know, implying these concepts of 1358, which is truth, freedom, love, consciousness. That's like on the ground level of learning. Those are the basics, okay? Like I said, I have over 50 hours of material, but after that, what we learn to do is to create these energy pockets, okay? And the energy pockets are, I call them clusters. They are outside of your body, okay? And we learn to fill these clusters, and it's kind of like an emergency supply if you need a charge for healing or manifesting or whatever, what have you. And so I have a very intricate model that I share. I'm actually working on getting that done in a 3D model, which is going to be super cool. And what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. It's getting to be late at night. But one of the clusters, and so there's like a truth cluster, freedom cluster, love cluster, and that's, you know, that's the 1, the 3, and the 5. Cluster 1, cluster 3, cluster 5. And when I go deeper into this, like I said, this gets really, really deep. It's not just like, oh la la, tutti frutti. I mean, like I said, it gets really, really deep into this stuff. But we learn to fill these clusters and learn to recognize when we need to access them. But there's also these special 3 additional, I call them gateway clusters, like that. One, you know, then they're little spheres, right? One's here in front of the throat, and then one's above the forehead. And the one I wanted to talk about tonight, just to give you guys some ideas and stuff to think about, is the cluster that I have people install in front of the throat. And I call this the past or the memory cluster. You can call it the past tense cluster. That's how they have it translated in Chinese, so I'm used to saying that, but it really makes more sense as the memory cluster. And so what I tell people, okay, and we talked about this in the heart, a video about the human heart, about projecting your consciousness too far back or too far forward, and this can cause this temporal malalignment. It can give you chest problems, heart problems, palpitations. And so here's what I have people do. And you can do a lot of this by intent, or you can do it, you know, we can figure, I take you through the kind of ways that I teach people to do it, but intent works also. What we do is we set the intent to take all of our memories from the past, meaning everything from 1 second ago to forever ago. Take those memories and instead of storing them in our brain, all right, inside our body, we take them and we store them outside of us, which is like right here outside the throat.
Well, can I say this? Just store them in your etheric body. That's where it's in the field.
Yeah, well, it's in your field, but it's not in your
physical.
Your physical body. So, and so I like you keeping them here, and so it's kind of like a little box that you can open and access. So this means you still remember, right? You still remember the good, the bad, the ugly. But what happens when we keep these memories and the energy of the memory in your brain is they affect your